Hello, it is I, Aaron, the Brickfilmer, and today I am going to teach you how to make a brick film. I am going to divide the video into multiple parts: writing, animating, and editing. I'm not a professional animator like Leica or Aardman, but I can still give some advice on this stuff. Part 1. Writing and pre-production. Alright, before you get into the animating, you wanna write a script, an outline for what you want the story to be. I would recommend using Google Docs for this, so you can share the document with other people, like your voice actors. Microsoft Word is also very cool. I've used it to write a few scripts, but I mainly stick to Docs. The background is just me animating some tests. When writing a script, you always write in present tense. For example, he sees that is acceptable. He saw that, no. Alright, here I am in Google Documents. That is my script. As you can see, I'm not writing this like a story. I'm writing this like, a script, showing their names and then their action. Also, you have to get voice actors, or else your animations will sound really bland with no variation in voices. You can ask your friend to send you an audio file, or you can directly message someone on a social media app to ask them. You also have to record the lines before you start to animate, so you can animate movements that match the voice. Don't be one of those people who just put a freeze frame where you're gonna have a character talk and then record the lines later. That will make your animations feel bland, and no one wants a bland animation. Also, you gotta get characters in a set. This will be made out of Lego since, it's a brick film. The tip for stop-motion set building is build only what the camera sees. This looks like a fairly decent set right here, but on the back it just looks disgusting. Look at that, that's just nasty. You have to secure your set to your table or desk when animating so it doesn't slide all over the place. I use sticky tack, but you can also use masking tape as well. For your animations, I recommend using oak tag as a background. You can secure it to your wall using masking tape so it comes off easy without ripping the paper. Once you get all the characters for your animation, I would recommend putting them on a large flat plate so you can have them out of the way and you can have them all together so you don't lose any during the filming process. Also, you want to have multiple faces similar to the ones your character has. Here's some faces that kind of look like that with a different expression. And then here's some for her. Once you have your character in set, you gotta give them accessories. You gotta give them props. You need props. Also, you need lights. You need to light up the set, or else that'll cause light flicker. Light flicker is just the worst. It is an animator's worst nightmare. It's just when you capture frames and the light is different in those frames and you need to reshoot the whole thing because that's not acceptable. You gotta turn off overhead lights so you're not in the way of when you're taking pictures, causing a shadow over the set while you're getting up and moving the figure. Also, you need software. I currently use Frame, which I always will since it is the best software, but it's rather pricey, but worth it. It's $300, but if you consider the fact that it's what professional movie makers use, that's pretty decent, since if you see a movie like Coraline or Paranorman, this is what they use. They use Frame. Cheaper alternative is Stop Motion Studio Pro. It's $5 on the App Store and Google Play Store. You can also get it on computer, and it's pretty good. I used it on iPad before I got Frame. There are pros and cons for using it on different devices. First, on iPad, there's this little bar at the bottom where you can see all your frames and you can drag it back and forth to see the movement. I am right here on my phone on Stop Motion Studio, and you can see you have to enter a picture taking mode. You can't scroll back and forth between frames while you're actually taking pictures. you have to exit and then re-enter the picture-taking mode to actually take more pictures. It's quite annoying. You can only play through that play button you can see under the frame capture button. A con of using iPad is that it's really clunky and large and hard to get certain angles. Also, you want to organize your equipment. Here are all my minifigures. Here's my Marvel drawer, Star Wars, Ninjago, Fantasy, DC. This drawer is just the rest. Here are all my minifigure parts. Here's all the heads, the hairs. Here are some torsos, cloth pieces, legs, and then just extras like arms, hands, and then like half legs, that kind of stuff. Here are the special accessories. Here's guns, here's lightsabers, here's swords and sharp objects, and then Ninjago special accessories. Here are the rest of my accessories. The rest of what's in this drawer: bricks, large building materials, stuff to build sets with. Well, there's the accessories, just more set building materials, flat plates, and base plates. Also, I recommend using a tripod. Without it on iPad, it's the worst, and with phone, it's not as bad, but it would be much better if you had a tripod. You also have to get a certain mount if you want to put your iPad on the tripod. But if you're using a camera that screws directly on the tripod, I would recommend using this kind, where this thing is detachable. Here's all the features of a tripod. If you unscrew this one, it makes it easier to move it up and down. And screw it right, it's tighter. This right here makes it easier to go side to side. Here makes the neck go up or down. And these right here make it stretch the leg longer. Part 2, animation. I'm going to show the basic features of Stop Motion Studio Pro and Dragon Frame, and then I'm going to just show you some animation moves and techniques to help you get your animation better. Alright, so here I am in Stop Motion Studio Pro. Alright, so I'm just going to put a random figure down. Alright, here is a clone trooper. Yes, that is going to be the subject of my short little tutorial video. Okay, so I'm going to start taking pictures. Fun fact, you can actually, when you raise the volume, it takes a picture. So if you put in earbuds, you can use that volume up and down button to take pictures without bumping the camera. Alright, so, yeah, I just took a picture. Alright, and I want to ease in and out for this movement. Easing in and easing out is like when you start slow, get a little faster with the movement, and then go back to slow when the movement's going to stop, like a car. That's how it works, and it will usually look better than if you just were to use consistent movement and had the exact same amount of movement in each frame. So I'm just having him raise his arm, and as you can see, I'm easing in and easing out. Now I'm coming towards the end of the movement, and see, that looks pretty nice right there. Alright, so I'm gonna just have him lower his arm, and here it is. Make a very small movement in the first frame, get a little bit bigger in the second, a little bit bigger in the third, and then just keep getting bigger. And I think that's the biggest the movement will get right here. And now I'm gonna start slowing it down. Yeah, and it's getting smaller movements. Like that, right there. Till it stops. Yeah, so that, like, was time. It's usually, yeah, this takes a while. I gotta move that for every single frame. It's not that bad right now, since it was just a simple arm raise. But trust me, it is very time consuming. Quite time consuming. Yeah, it's, yeah, very, very time consuming. So, yeah. Okay, so you're going to want to set a frame rate when animating. As you can see here, I'm going to that right now. Mine is currently at 15 frames per second, but I would recommend anywhere from 8 to 12 for beginners in animation. As you can see, it's like not bad. It's pretty decent, a little choppy. But that means you have to take 12 pictures per second of animation. But for me, I take 15 pictures per second of animation. Okay, now I'm going to show you two basic walk cycles. Right now, you have their legs in this position. Right now, you see both legs like that. Now you lean them forward just, oh, well, I didn't take a picture. So, here it is. Now you lean them forward a little bit and then move one of their legs up like this. And then move the opposite arm of the leg you're moving up a little. Well, I'm gonna change the mood. Now you move the arm up a little bit more, and now you have to balance it between frames. It might not always work. Sometimes you might need to take a little bit of clay and put it there. And now the arms are at their peak. This is the highest they're going to go. You balance your figure in the middle. Just maybe move it forward a little bit more. Balance them like that. That is very good. And now you lower their arms a little bit and then move their leg down a little bit. So they're just resting over that stud. Now they're like that with one leg back. Yes, there's 6 frames of the first part of this walk cycle, and now you just do the same the opposite way. So now you lift the other arm of the leg. Yeah, so that arm moves back, this one moves forward, and just move that leg forward. Yeah, like that. And yeah, just move their arm a little bit more to get ready, and now you're balancing them in the middle of the studs. And now again, arms at its peak, like that. And now the arms are going down, and you just balance it over the stud, and now it falls onto the stud, and the arms lower some more. Yeah, that's... Alright, and for this, it's going to be the end of the walk cycle, so you need some exaggeration. A little bit of that. Have them lean forward to show it's ended, show force. Oh, yeah, that's just a little buggy sometimes. Maybe delete one frame, that's a little too slow. No, battery's low. And now bring them back up. And yeah, there is the first walk cycle you have right there, which is pretty nice. Okay, so here I am in Dragon Frame. I'm about to show you the second walk cycle. This one's a little harder to get right, but when you do get it right, it looks really good. So here you have your figure, just take a picture, starts off with that. Now, you gotta start off slow with the arm movements. Don't move them that much. Oh, well, oops. Yeah, and lean them forward a tad. Okay, and right, yeah, just, it's kind of hard to balance them. And then this is going to be the peak of your arm movement. That's the highest they're going to be. Like that. And then try to lean it over that stud. And now just move it down. Like that. And now you skip that movement and just with one leg forward. Oh, I moved her hair a little bit. Okay. Yeah, sometimes they lean over a little to the side and that doesn't look good. Yeah, right. Ugh. It's very annoying when that happens. Oh, sorry this is taking so long. Very annoying. You gotta get it right. And then here, again, peak of your movement. So See, that looks pretty good so far. And now, like this. See, and that looks pretty good right there. I'm just gonna do one more step because you only saw two without, you only saw one without the, without both legs together, frame. So, and yeah, that is, now lower the arms, that, yeah, now have them lean forward, but not too much on that last step. And now, here's where you start to lean forward. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, one of my friends taught me this walk cycle, and I think it works very well. Yeah, so now, after this, I'm gonna show one run cycle, and that'll be it for body stepping movements. Frame, but I've already captured the run cycle, already animated it. I'm just gonna show you how to do it, breaking it down, frame by frame. Okay, so the first frame here, the first step is you wanna do the second walk cycle I showed you to start. And then, yeah, so we already went over that. And then here is where it gets into the run. So you've got to balance your figure between those two studs, like that. Stretch the legs out long, so you can put it over one stud, and lean them forward a little bit. Then, like this, you want their leg positioned like that, with one of them back, and have them lean forward a little. And now skip the both legs by either side and move the figure one stud forward and have one leg forward, like that, right there. Next, you gotta balance them between these two, between studs again, going over one stud, and then have one leg back, the opposite one of last time, and the other arm. And then next, you move a stud forward, move your arms up a little bit. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so there, and then put them over one stud again, have one leg back, have one leg forward, and then go back into the other walk cycle to kind of ease out of the running motion. And then have them do that twice, and then lean forward and lean back. And this is the final product. Let me show you that again. and one final time. Yeah, so that's a pretty good walk cycle right there. Also, when you're animating and planning out your scene, you want to have the character's eye be on like that little crosshair, top right or top left. It just helps the shot look better, more cinematic, stuff like that. Okay, so here I am. This is going to be the last part of the animation section, the last video tutorial, and that's going to be on animating dialogue. So let's get right into it. So you want to split the movement up into two different movements for each word, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to want to move their arms a lot, so have them go like this for hello, and then that for there, and then, yeah. So you want to line it up with where you want the audio. I'm having it like 3 frames ahead, so he can get started on the movement before he actually says it, so it doesn't look weird, or the movements don't look rushed. So yeah, I'm gonna raise his arm, use in and out, lean his torso back a little. Yeah, so yeah, and this is the furthest back his torso will go during this movement. And now into the there movement. Alright, and I'm going to start to lower his arm. Yeah, and yeah, like that. And the movement is finished up, and now he's where he started. Oh, that's and now I'm gonna put it on loop so you can see that. See, that's a pretty good loop right there. Yeah, and I think that was pretty smooth and pretty good. So, yeah. Now on to the editing section. Part 3, Editing. Okay, so the first part of this I'm going to show you is adding sound effects. In the app Stop Motion Studio Pro, you can actually add them when you're in it. Those are just some sound effects I got from the website sweetsoundeffects.com. They're pretty good. That website has a ton of sound effects, which is pretty good. Yeah, so I'm gonna add those in as an arm swinging sound effect. So there I did, and yeah, here it is. When I'm animating Dragon Frame, it's really annoying to add sound effects in on that app. It's usually for just adding voices, like dialogue, music, that kind of stuff. in, so I use iMovie. Here are some sound effects from a Brickfilm I made. Yeah, so sometimes it's not the best, but it's pretty good, and since it came pre-installed on the iPad. Sometimes you're gonna wanna make your own sound effects because it's too specific, and you can't find them on any website. So just use a good mic for that. And most times you can find a sound effect for whatever it is on a website like I did. But yeah, recording your own sound effects is always an option. A good app for adding gun effects, laser effects, and other effects like that is Gun Movie FX. It has a whole ton of different effects, and as you can see, I'm adding in some effects right now to this Iron Man. Right, yeah, now. So you gotta make it bigger and then add it right there. Like, yeah, you would. And then you gotta change the color later, but that's different. Like, yeah, see, you change the color by doing that. But yeah, this app is really good. I got it when it was free, but it no longer is. Another app made by the same company is Saber Movie FX. It adds lightsaber effects for you, which is what I did with a ton of my great sound effects, stuff like that. It's a very good app. You can create your own custom effects, different colors, like I'm doing there. And yeah, it's really good for making lightsaber effects. You can change the size, and you can add blurs, stuff like that. It's just a really great app. Green screen is also a part of editing, but since on a lot of the cheaper apps, there's not a really good way to do it. The good green screen features come with all the big expensive Adobe, those kind of things. Okay, you've done it. You've made it to the end of the video. Okay, so that's all the basic stuff on how to make an epic brick film. And also, please subscribe to Laughing Lego Productions on YouTube.